When an emergency problem emerges in class, what should you do? Immediately call for help and manage the situation calmly. When an emergency problem arises in the classroom, it is crucial to manage the situation calmly and effectively. Students explore information themselves in the discovery method. Explanation. The discovery method encourages students to explore and investigate information on their own, fostering active learning and critical thinking. Which method is more suitable for teaching science? Project method. A project method is particularly effective for teaching science because it involves hands-on inquiry-based learning where students work on practical tasks and investigation. Students are active in all of these. Explanation. In inquiry-based learning, decisions and the question-answer method, students are actively involved in their learning processes. Inquiry-based learning, decision, question-answer method. When a teacher assesses students' weakness and help them to improve, this method is called diagnostic assessment. Diagnostic assessment is used to identify students' strengths and weaknesses before or during the learning process. This type of assessment helps teachers to understand specific areas where students may be struggling and provides information on how to tailor instructions to address these issues. When a teacher asks questions during class and assesses students' learning, this method is called formative assessment. Formative assessment involves techniques that provide ongoing feedback to both teachers and students during the learning process. Micro-teaching is a type of teacher's training. Micro-teaching is the teacher training technique where educators practice teaching a short lesson, usually 5 to 10 minutes, to a small group of peers or students. Which of the following is not informal? Project. A project is typically formal educational activity that involves structured planning, research, and presentation. On your first day, if students ask you about yourself, what should you do? Introduce yourself in a brief and engaging way. Introduction yourself briefly and engaging helps establish rapport with the students and sets a positive tone for the classroom environment. If a group of students is constantly doing mischief and distracting the class, what should you do? Ask them to interception and give them opportunity to prove themselves. Asking students for introspection and allowing them to improve themselves involves engaging them to understand the impact of their behavior and encouraging them to. A plutocracy is a form of government run by the wealthy. Explanation. A plutocracy, wealth or plutocracy is a society that is ruled or controlled by the people of great wealth or income. The first known use of them term is English dates from 1631. The term plutocracy is generally used as a projective to describe or warn against the undesirable condition. The salary is given as leave encashment 365 days. In Pakistan, leave encashment is generally calculated based on the unused leave days occurred over a year, typically up to 365 days of annual leave entitlement. The payment is based on the employer's salary and the number of unused leave days at the time of encashment. Pedagogy is a dash. Science of teaching. Pedagogy is the science of teaching. It encompasses the methods, strategies, and the theories instruction used by the teachers to facilitate learning in students. Which Term refers to the feeling of uncertainty or tension that reader experiences while reading a story. Correct answer: suspense. Suspense is the literary term used to describe the feeling of uncertainty or tension that keeps the reader eagerly anticipating what will happen next. Which branch of government is responsible for making rule? Legislator. Legislator, this is the branch is responsible for creative laws and making rules. It includes legislative bodies. A plumber manages the good water flow as he knows the fact that water flows from higher level to lower level, applying the principle of Bernoulli's principle. Bernoulli's principle states that the flowing fluid and increases in the fluid speed occurs simultaneously with the decrease in pressure or potential energy. The abstract of the class of thesis in research involves a summary of key findings and methodology. The abstract of the thesis provides a concise summary of the research including the key finding, objectives, methodology and conclusions. Physical and motor skills are involved in psychomotor domain. The psychomotor domain focuses on physical and motor skills including coordination, manipulation and precision. The domain involves the development of skills related to physical movement and the use of the motor skills in performing tasks. Educational objectives are divided into three domains. Educational objectives are traditionally divided into three domains. Conjunctive domain focuses on intellectual skills, knowledge acquisition, for example, understanding, application, analysis. Affective domain concerns attitude, values, and feelings, for example, receiving, responsibility, responding, valuing. Psychomotor domain involves physical skills and manual tasks, for example, coordination, manipulation, precision. If some specific pattern characteristics are asked in the test, then it is performance test. A performance test evaluates a student's ability to perform specific tasks and demonstrate particular skills according to predefined patterns or characteristics. Is compared with clearly defined learning tasks. Return referenced test. Explanation. Return reference test assess students' performance based on the specific predefined learning objectives or criteria. Objectives representing the purpose of instructions of our teacher are called instructional objectives. Instructional objectives are specific goals that represent the purpose of instruction set by the teacher. The outline what the teacher aims to achieve through their teaching and provide a clear focus for both instructions and assessment. The environment of a lively classroom is characterized by students-teacher interaction. A lively classroom environment is marked by active and dynamic student-teachers interactions. These include engaging decisions, collaborative activities, responsive communication between students and the teacher. When a teacher uses a tape recorder in the classroom for hearing and audio recording, this method is called non-projective. Which of the following is not a factor of effective communication? Complexity. Effective communication relies on factors such as clarity, authenticity, and conciseness. Complexity, on the other hand, often hinders effective communication because it can make the message more difficult to understand and follow. Which of the following is an example of holistic rubric? A rubric that includes a detailed description of different performance levels of each creation. A heuristic rubric evaluates a student's work by assigning a single overall grade or score based on the overall impression of the work rather than assigning each individual creation separately. It provides a general assessment of the quality of the work as a whole, considering various aspects and how they contribute to the overall performance. In which stage of assessment cycle does the educator set specific learning goals and objectives for students? Planning. In the planning stage of the assessment cycle, educators set specific learning goals and objectives for students. This stage involves determining what students are expected to learn and how their learning will be measured. The ability to disintegrate information into its part is called analysis. In Boehm's taxonomy, analysis refers to the ability to break down complex information into its component parts and understand its structure and relationship. The application of the knowledge and skills for problem solving is involved in which level of Bloom's taxonomy? Application. In Bloom's taxonomy, the application level involves using knowledge and skills in new and practical situations to solve problems, which is not the focal point of the triangular process of teaching known. The triangular process of teaching typically involves three focal points: the teacher, the pupil, the teaching method. Each component plays a crucial role in the educational process, which is not a type of communication channel. Thinking. Explanation. Communication channels refers to the method through which information is transmitted and received. The type of communication channels typically include speaking, verbal communication, listening, receiving and interpreting spoken information, reading, interpreting written text, writing, creating written text. Thinking is a good communication channel, but rather an internal cognitive process. The word management is derived from the Italian word manager. The word management is derived from the Italian word manager, which means to handle or to manage. The term manager is related to handling or controlling something. A teacher develops teaching skills through training. Development teaching skills typically refers to the process of professional growth and learning that occurs through training. Training includes various forms of professional development such as workshops, seminars, courses. A national budget has two parts: income and expenditure. A national budget typically consists of two main parts: income and expenditure. Income refers to the total revenue collected by the government through taxes and fees. In our examination structure, the identification of examination centers is the responsibility of duty controller of examination. The duty controller of examination is typically responsible for overseeing various aspects of the examination process, including the identification and management of the examination centers. The effective school environment is mostly affected by meeting pupil need. An effective school environment is primarily influenced by meeting pupil needs. When a school environment is designed to address the diverse academic, emotional, and social needs of students.